Alright guys, before we get into this video, make sure to drop a question down in the comment section for a chance to be featured at the end of my next video. Let's get into it. What's good guys? I hope y'all having an amazing day. I'm having so much fun. This is my first time out in Stockholm, Sweden. I cannot believe I'm out of the country. I cannot believe I'm in Sweden. Who would have ever thought that I would ever be in Sweden? Because of you guys, because of YouTube and creating this content. I think it's so dope. And it just got me reflecting and thinking about how my entire life was once a lie. So many misconceptions around this video thing and what made people good and what made people succeed and fail. Let's talk about some common video misconceptions. Misconceptions as a video maker. But first, I gotta get a smoothie. The food here in Sweden is amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's just so different from what I typically eat that I don't think that it's meshing well with my stomach. So I'm gonna go find a safe option to eat for breakfast this morning. Might as well see the city as well, man. Let's get into this vlog. So one of the dopest things about Stockholm is you can pretty much walk anywhere, which is fire. You don't have to get on Ubers most of the time, but I'm looking for a void. Like, these things have been spoiling me this entire week I've been here. Oh, I think I found one. I wonder if I can get this one. Let's see. I'm just rambling at this point. Quick story time. So when I started, the camera that I started out using, I guess, was the Canon T2i. Dope camera at the time, but at the time when I had it, I hated it because I saw so many other creators using 5D Mark IIIs and what they were creating as opposed to what I was creating with my T2i was trash. And I formed this misconception in my head that when I was able to get a 5D Mark III, I was gonna be killing it like them. I was gonna be shooting these Matt Alonso music videos, these Colin Tilley music videos, these Steven Spielberg films, but that wasn't the case. So one huge misconception when I started out was that it was all in the camera. The camera makes you a good filmmaker. The camera makes you a good music video director. Not true at all. Just look at today. Every camera that's coming out today has 4K, looks f***ing amazing, has a flat log profile, has 60 to 120 FPS. None of that matters. Cameras really don't matter that much when it comes to the creative process. It's a huge misconception that a camera will make you creative. A camera will better your filmmaking process. One of the biggest misconceptions as a beginner was the camera. Cameras really don't matter. So I've been here for a couple of days at this point. This is like my last day here. So my entire goal today is to go around and see as much as possible, film as much dope B-roll of stuff as possible, and just feel the city. Alright, let's continue on with this story time theme, I guess, for this entire video. So, like I said, I started on the T2i. I eventually did upgrade that T2i to a Canon 7D, then to a Canon 5D Mark III. And when I got the Canon 5D Mark III, I'm looking at my videos still, and I'm like, yo, why does my videos not look as good? I couldn't understand it. I couldn't figure it out. Then Sony announces the Sony a7S II. That time I'm seeing what people are making with it. I'm seeing how amazing it is in low light, and I'm like, I need really good low light sensitivity. So my next misconception was created at that moment, that having a camera that was better in low light was better than having good lighting or lighting at all. A good low light camera will never replace the light in a scene. Ever. Lighting adds emotion to shots. Lighting adds depth to shots. Lighting is literally king in my personal opinion. So as a beginner, do not believe the hype that having a good low light camera is better than learning lighting or even having lighting at all. I'm telling you, huge misconception on my part. Damn, man, I'm so scared that this video is gonna have audio. Hope that's not the case. So I just realized that I had this voice sitting this entire time, and my session right now is like an hour and 30 minutes. Holy sh! I gotta shut this down. Gotta move. So I don't even know if you guys know why I'm here. I'm here doing a project for Epidemic Sound. I just randomly popped up at the office, so let's see what they're doing. 5 floors.
Made it.
What's up?
What's up? Wow, it's a lot more people
Oh
here than I
man, that's
expected.
exactly the setup I was trying to do, like the GoPro on the chest.
Yeah.
While you're walking, so when you're shooting.
Yeah, I've been on scooters all day, so I had to find a solution.
Nice.
Oh, is it like a chest piece?
Yep, it's a chest mount.
Muy bien.
So you can do that.
¿Tú estás?
Did you buy this today?
Yeah, so let me show y'all around the Epidemic Sound office. Way more people here than I expected. Way more people here working and doing their little. Let me show y'all. Alright, so let's continue. So A7S2 comes out. I push away from it. I didn't grab it. I'm glad I did not act on this one misconception. I ended up getting a GH5. My production value is going up. I'm creating doper videos, but I'm not living. I'm not making a good amount of money. I'm really struggling from a financial standpoint, thinking, dang, if I could just make $800 for my video production, I would be good. I'll make all the money I need to make. I'll be rich. I'll be able to get the car I want, the lens, the camera, everything. This is where my next misconception came in. I thought that if I was able to make at least $1,000 for every single video that I was making, that I would be good. $1,000 is enough. Huge misconception for me. Definitely how much money I thought that I would need to make this a feasible career and also fulfilling, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. A fulfilling career, that's what I'm trying to say, a fulfilling career. Nah, it's not. If you think that you should be getting paid a certain amount of money, more than likely you probably deserve twice as much as you feel like you should be getting paid. Video production is one of those things where it's like you really don't start out getting paid a lot, so you think that getting paid a little bit more money than you're already getting paid is essentially what you should be worth, when that's not the case at all. Yo, the Epidemic Sound office is dope. It's a lot of people here. I really was not expecting this many people to be working here. Just like looking at it from an outside standpoint, you see a company with good music and just good branding online, and you think that it's not that many people. It's so many people behind the scenes creating what you see on this website and getting this music to you, and just this overall customer experience. So Epidemic sounds amazing. That's what I've been using for my music for pretty much all my videos for a really long time. They have stems there, which is dope. I'm gonna do an entire video talking about the music I use, but it's just an overall view. If you guys are interested in the music that I use for my YouTube videos, make sure you guys use Epidemic. I'm about to dip. I'm gonna be back here though later because we got pizza, so let me dip real quick. So I eventually got to the point of making the amount of money that I thought would make me comfortable. I started making that, and I still wasn't comfortable. Like, I was good, but just the general rule of like being humane, you make more money, you spend more money, so you kind of break even. So the money thing was never like something that made me comfortable when I eventually got there. So beyond that, I started thinking, all right, well, maybe I need to upgrade my gear. Maybe I need to get a better camera, a big cinema camera, more gimbals, more lights, everything, just to make the operation look more grand than it is. I thought that having more gear would make this more easier and make me more money. Huge misconception. Started doing YouTube. I started getting a ton of stuff sent to me for free. I started buying stuff. I remember at one point in time, I bought a gimbal to vlog on, which is absolutely absurd. I was just walking around with this big gimbal with the camera on top of it, with the microphone on top. I looked like a freaking idiot. Having more gear does not make the process easier at all. In fact, it complicates it. This entire trip, all I've had is my EOS R, 2 lenses, and a GorillaPod. That's it. No gimbal, no drone, nothing. And it makes the process so much simpler. Hold up, it's getting dark. I just screwed my focus point. Hold on. Let me get the exposure right. I think that looks good. Bring that back right there on my face. All right. Had I brought everything with me, my backpack would have been so heavy, I wouldn't have wanted to film anything. I would have had a gimbal on me. I would have been trying to set the gimbal up to form and get every single shot perfect and frame it up. Nah, having less gear created with limitations makes the process easier. I'm telling you. This is one of those things that you never really understand until you're in the position of having too much gear or owning a substantial amount of gear, I guess. More gear is a huge misconception that it makes the process easier. It doesn't. It makes you overthink it. It makes the process hell. decided to take the stairs coming out of my hotel room just now instead of the elevator. I am on the weakest floor of the hotel. All these other floors have really dope aesthetics, like color coordination. Let me show y'all. All right, let's get back into the story. Where the hell were we in the story? We were talking about having too much gear. Okay, cool. So I went through the process of having too much gear. I had all the gear that I ever wanted. I bought a drone. I had a new camera, new lens, all of this stuff that companies were sending to me, and I still hated my work. And I started to think about my work and why I wasn't happy with it. And I thought that the problem was I wasn't where I wanted to be physically. Location-wise, location-based, huge misconception. You don't have to be in a huge central hub to be able to create some creative content. You don't have to be in LA, New York, Atlanta, Bali, Hawaii. Yes, these things do make it a little bit easier. I would like to believe it's always beautiful stuff around you, but wherever you live, you're gonna eventually get used to it, and you're eventually gonna get tired of it and think that it's not as cool as you would think it is, if that makes sense. So the people in New York think that New York's boring, you know, and there's some people in the world who would die to go to New York to film some stuff. So location-based, where you live does not determine your creativity. I just recently filmed a music video in my house, and I like it a lot more than the projects where I'm traveling out in these different cities, these different hubs to create music videos. Being creative isn't about a city. It's about an idea, a story, visual that you're trying to portray and create. And yes, these places can make this process a little bit easier, but this isn't a necessity. Don't feel discouraged if you're not where you physically want to be to create a project. Just use it as a goal or motivation to get there eventually, but don't let it hinder you into creating something creative, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. I be feeling like I just be rambling. Y'all felt that though, I know y'all did. Whoa, look, I have my ND adapter on my camera and I don't feel like taking it off. So this is at 12,800 ISO. This is gonna be a proper low light test for the EOS R. This is my last day in Sweden. Peace to the whole Epidemic Sound team. Love you guys, appreciate you. I can't wait for you guys to see the content that we put together in the project that we were working on. Yeah, man, drop a question about anything in the world you wanna ask. I'll make sure to pick out a couple. Handful, not all of them, but yeah, you have an opportunity. All right, let's get into a couple of questions from my previous video. This is gonna be a really hard segment for me to integrate because I want to acknowledge as many people as possible, but I don't want these videos to be an hour long. So I'm gonna try to run through these questions as quick as possible so we can get up out of here and get you guys onto the next video from your favorite YouTubers. So our last video was about business and being a broke videographer, so a lot of these questions will be pertaining to this exact same theme. The first question is from Vonnie J, and she asks, do you make enough money to suffice all your living expenses? And if not, what do you do as a side job for extra income? So I'm assuming that she's asking about video production in terms of where I will make my money from to suffice all of my expenses as a human. Because I do a lot of different stuff like YouTube and sell my presets and stuff like that. But solely from video production, like my music videos, yes and no. No, because I turn down a lot of stuff, but that's only because I make money from other avenues of revenue streams like YouTube and selling my presets and stuff like that. So if I had to make enough money to pay for all of this stuff that I had to pay for, I would take on more video gigs. But the fact that I don't makes it in turn a little less stressful for me because I'm able to turn down projects that I might not necessarily like, if that makes sense. So yes and no. The next comment is from the Luxury Cove, and he says, on point, bro. Actually today a client tried to pay me way below the normal rate to edit piles of 4K drone footage because he thought it was easy. I said no, of course, and instead of being put off, he was actually impressed and offered me a bigger job in advance. Like you said, set your standards and don't settle for anything less. That's awesome. It's like very rare that this happens, but when it does, you feel extra good about it. Like when you're able to negotiate up to the price that you want, or even just a little bit more money than what they offered you, you feel good from a business standpoint because you were able to make a little bit more money. So stand on what you want. Hopefully it goes in the positive light for you, but if it doesn't, at the end of the day, you're not doing a project that you don't want to do, and another project will come about. The next comment is from Curry Shot You. He says, YC in the building, do you ever lose your drive for filming? Absolutely. Right now at this very moment, I'm kind of going through like a dry spell with music videos. I'm kind of like, I don't want to say I'm frustrated with them, but I want to take my time and really find clientele and clients who are interested in doing things other than the norm with the type of music videos that I do. Within the hip hop and rap genre, it's just like it's just very common for them to not want to do much. The concepts tend to be very cliche a lot of the times in like the low budget scene for hip hop music videos. So for me, I'm just chilling, man. I love music videos. I'm never gonna lose that drive to ever want to like create them completely, hopefully. But yeah, man, it happens. I think the best thing to do is just take a step back from it for a second. And then in turn, you know, if you do find yourself finding your way back to it, you'll enjoy it and you'll actually appreciate it a little bit more. But absolutely, man, it happens. The next question is from Louis Studios. He says, okay, I will love a shout out. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Louis Studios. Okay, the next comment is from Andreas Hinborn. They said, do you like Stockholm and did you ever get to use the subway card? Yes, I absolutely love Stockholm. For you guys who are interested in traveling, I definitely recommend you guys check out Stockholm. It's an amazing place in Sweden. The architecture there is amazing. The food there is actually really great too. All the food I got there was like Instagrammable. It was like they knew that they were creating these places for social media people. Everything looks so good. It's just put together well. Stockholm is just an amazing place. I really enjoyed it. And I did get to use that subway card as well. The next comment is from Unique Visions. They said, how can I get out of my creative block? I don't like any of my work. And I have low confidence. I'm assuming that's what they said. The confidence is low. Honestly, I think creative blocks are just about pushing through them. They're in the way, you gotta push through them. You can't go around them. You can't go over them. Creative blocks is just something that you gotta push through. So what I mean by this is force yourself to do work. Force yourself into the seat at the desk and force yourself to actually create something. It's not one of those things that just comes from inspiration. Yes, you can get inspired to create something creatively, but most of the time, just starting is half the battle. So for me, whenever I'm having a creative block, I just force myself to make something. Even if I know I'm gonna hate it, just getting in the mode and the rhythm of actually making something tends to spark a lot more creativity to do other things. So just force your way through the creative block. The next comment is from Johnny Creative. He says, how do you build relationships for consistent work? I think that this is an easy one. I think the best way to create a relationship for consistent work between you and a client is to take every project to the next level. Try as hard as you can on every single project, regardless if you think that it's not gonna be a project that you like. Just always go 110% on it and try to make the best out of what the circumstances are presented for that project. That's it, man. Make sure you guys drop a like on this video, comment, also subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'm out, guys. Peace.